Welcome back to the Party Package. My name is Owen, and we got a quick one today. Breaking news. The Anaheim Ducks have signed John Klingberg to a one-year, $7 million contract. And this, in my mind, is a really good move for the Anaheim Ducks. This is a team that's in a weak division. They're in the Pacific, and they have young talent all throughout the lineup. They've got some pretty good depth on forward, and these guys could rise up and become bigger than they are. These guys can grow and become better as the year goes on. And defensively, they were kind of lacking. On defense, they only had Fowler and Shattenkirk and Drysdale, who's growing, but then they had Vakinen, Benoit, and Mahura. Not a very decent. Those bottom three guys could really kill the team right there. And Fowler's kind of at the edge of not the end of his career, but he's not really the defenseman you want for your team. And Shattenkirk's also been going downhill, and this could be maybe the breaking point year for him. So really, you'd only have a Drysdale and maybe Fowler on this team. But they have signed John Klingberg, who's going to be their number one defenseman now. Excuse me. He's going to slide right into that number one line right there with Fowler, probably. Klingberg is going to bring some legitimacy to their defense. He's going to be that driving defenseman. He can play fast. He can make shots. He can score goals. He can make offense while also playing. Not the best defenseman in the league, but when you got Fowler on your line, who is a pretty good defenseman, then you got a solid tandem right there with those two guys. So what does this change for the Anaheim Ducks? What does this change? Well, apparently, they have $19 million in cap space. According to Cap Friendly, I just looked at it, they have $19 million. They're the second most space available for them to use and pay out players this upcoming season. So the Ducks, they have a lot of money to play with. I'm surprised they didn't go after more players. Now, of course, they will have to sign players like Terry and Zegras and Drysdale in the upcoming, I think next season. Yeah, Zegras has to sign next season. I think Drysdale signs at the end of this season. So they've got a few players that they're going to have to pay out this upcoming years. So they can't really be spending all their money away right now. So they have that cap space. So once they sign Zegras, Terry, and Drysdale, then they can play around with more of their money. But they pick up Klingberg for this 1 year only, and this is going to solidify them, I think, as a playoff contender, at least a playoff spot contender. I think they can make it to the playoffs, especially in the Pacific Division, when you've got a team like the Oilers probably taking the number one spot. The Flames could take a playoff spot this year with Huberdeau and Uyghur as replacements for Gaudreau and Tkachuk. But then that third place spot and potentially the wild cards, I could see this team stealing one of those spots with all those teams of the Central kind of being weaker, and you've got the Pacific being pretty weak. I could easily see this Anaheim Ducks team steal a playoffs position going forward with a Klingberg, with a stronger defense going forward. The one thing that I think this team is still missing that I said before is that they need a solid first-line player. They need one more power player, because you got players like Henrique, Zegras, and Terry up there. Comtois not proven. Strome's he's an all right, solid player, but not like extraordinary or anything. Frankie Vetrano's just right there again. McTavish is young, his first year coming up. He's not going to be able to be that number one guy. They need a number one guy to help play along with Zegras, and I still think with that $19 million, I said this before in my other one, I said they needed Klingberg, and I also said they needed Kadri. Nazem Kadri and Klingberg, the two Ks added to this team, that could add a huge change to this Anaheim Ducks team. Could you imagine? Put Kadri in the middle, put like Zegras on the second line. So you got Kadri. Kadri I could even see in a Ducks jersey already. But this team needs Kadri, and if they do, this team totally is solidified a playoff spot. And with their young talent and those two guys added, Klingberg and Kadri, two bona fide players in their positions, and then you've got these young guys coming up that have a drive and a want and a hunger to win and play and succeed in the National Hockey League, this team could easily form together with a Kadri pickup, and I would say maybe one more. It's kind of scary because you got like Jones, Comtois. Like these guys could easily fizzle out and only get 15 points this year. If they could pick up like a Condry and one more like pretty decent 30 to 40 goal points player, then I think this team has become a legitimate contender, not for the cup, but a legitimate playoff contention with these pickups. Like John Klingberg adds 47 points to defense. He's going to drive that defense. He's going to be that offensive pusher from their defensive zone. And that's a huge pickup for the Ducks, who still have $19 million to play with. Not that there's a lot of people still to pick up, but there is still like Paul Stastny, Nazem Kadri, as I keep saying. There's still Phil Kessel, who got 54 points last season. He could be a great addition to this team. Like I said, a player who can get 40 to plus points for this team, a guy that's a bona fide player. Pick up Kessel, pick up Kadri, and then you got, I'm not going to make the joke, but you get Klingberg, Kadri, Kessel, you get it. That could add something to this team. And the Ducks I think, even without those guys, have become a legitimate contender and are going to make it to the playoffs. So tell me what you think down below. If you like this video, please pick up your free subscription by hitting that red subscribe button. Make sure you hit the ding bell that pops up next to it. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, not a dislike. You can go down below and tell me what you think about this pickup by the Anaheim Ducks. Do you think this is a great steal, or do you think this is going to just keep them still kind of out of the playoffs and isn't really going to add anything other than give Klingberg $7 million and maybe play somewhere else next season, I guess? Or whatever else you think. Do you think they need Kadri? I do. So if you did all those things, and also make sure to leave any feedback, reviews, comments, concerns, and any sort of rants, opinions, tangents, whatever the hell I usually say. So until next time, I've been the party. Too sweet. And ta-ta for now.